Go on. Yes. Okay, so it looks like we are live. Hey, hello everyone. It's Amanda Shi here, and this is Viviana. So tell us a little bit about you, Viviana.
So thank you for having me, Amanda. It's always a pleasure. My name is Viviana Premazzi. I'm Italian, but I live in Malta. And I'm the founder of a company that I call Global Mindset Development. And we do work across cultures. So intercultural management, intercultural communication, that means helping people to communicate and work across cultures and enjoy also every experience they may have with people from different cultures or living and working abroad.
Very good. So Viviana's work is very, I would say, very in a niche, right? Very niche down. So in this area, how do you get people to find you, to contact you, to join their business event?
So it's very important, especially when you start, and so you're a startup or before I was self-employed, it's important, let's say, to get out there. And this is what I did, especially the first year, but I keep doing. So I'm doing networking events, so I'm participating everywhere I can. And also I accept a lot of speaking engagements, even if maybe some they are free, some they are paid, but let's say never say no because it's a good exposure. And as well as I'm also part of business networking organization, locally, internationally, so that people then can refer also me to clients.
Very good. So everyone, if you can hear us clearly, just leave in the comments so we know like our sound is good, okay? Anyone can tell us like if you can hear us okay? Otherwise we carry on. Yeah. So Viviana, how long you have been living in Malta, live and work in Malta?
5 years now. Like I moved exactly August 2017.
Yeah.
It's really 5 years.
Right. So your business is quite established because I've seen you everywhere, like at every business event. I think both in Italy and Malta, you join so many different events. And I want to ask you, like, what's the difference between like you join event in Malta and in Italy? What the cultural difference when it comes to business?
Oh wow, we can talk for hours. I would say. I think the main difference, and I mentioned this morning actually, I was speaking at a conference here in Malta, and I mentioned this. I think it's the time you dedicate to build relationship that is more in Italy than in Malta. So in Italy we dedicate even more time to lunch or like the lunch break or the coffee break because it's really the time you build relationship.
Nice.
Well, here it's more Anglo-Saxon to a certain extent, and so you follow more the schedule that you have, and it's more let's discuss business, and then so it's short, and let's say the time you have to.
Okay. So you actually have to spend a little bit more of your private time to socialize with your business associate. Because I know Italians, they are so sociable. They love like afterwards go out for a drink or something. And that's the time you truly build friendship.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And I think this is also one of the cultural shock for people coming from Italy to Malta, because even if we are all Mediterranean, and then we have to say that Malta, it's an interesting mix because it's an ex-British colony in a Mediterranean, let's say in a Mediterranean island, but you can find people and industry, especially where they have more this British mentality, and the Italians, they feel this cultural shock. It's like, I'm in the Mediterranean or I am in like England.
Okay, it's kind of quite big mix about everything. Yeah, and the investors come from everywhere, from Europe, from outside of Europe, so that the work, like you actually have to see who you are networking with and to like judge like how do you react. It's super interesting. So tell us about your previous travel. I've seen your travel photo everywhere. Tell me about
and no one want to say the name because they're afraid to.
Yes, because I can't pronounce it.
I know, no, you're not the only one. I was in Uzbekistan, so in Central Asia, and it was actually almost 10 years that I wanted to go. So I was like reading and studying, and it was really fascinating because it's the place where there was like where the Silk Road actually passed, and it's really
what do you mean?
The Silk Road. So the trades from China to Europe, it passed this route. It passed through Uzbekistan and Central Asia. So like since the Middle Ages and then, so it was really a place also there of intercultural encounters because you had people from like China traveling and then a lot of like trades happening there. And if you read the story, it was really a place where knowledge was passed from one place to another, like ideas and different approaches. So it was really a place for me of, my company is called Global Mindset Development. So for me, it was a place where you can see the beginning also of global mindset development. And then it's beautiful, like the nature and all like the history. There are a lot of like mosques and madrasas, very beautiful and beautifully restored.
What do people like in that country? What are they like? What mix between Asia and what language do they speak?
So they speak Uzbek. And then they were in the Soviet Union, so most of them, they speak Russian, but they speak English now because they are, let's say, open also to like international tourism. Yeah. And it's interesting because they have like many other places that were before in the Soviet Union with the independence. Now they have a strong national identity.
Okay.
But it's interesting because also there is an important Korean community that I didn't expect it to find there.
Okay.
And so, but then the culture is again, and you can see this also in the food. It's a mix, so you can find something that it actually comes from Europe and something that is coming more from Asia, and they have, let's say, their own version of what was coming from outside.
Oh, that's cool. That's very interesting place. I never heard this place before. So you really did your study and
absolutely.
Oh, good. What was the biggest culture shock when you were there? Can you think of any? Because I know you probably did a lot of study, so you know like how to go about. But is there anything that stand out to you, like you were like, oh, that's how you do things?
I think it was interesting what they like. I had some expectations, but then I realized also that even if I studied, I kind of made a mix of all the places there, while they are like, no, this is our, let's say, strong national identity. And for example, the hero, then it's like Timur, that we have read in our, let's say, Italian books. There was, we read a version of the story, and then you go there, and he's actually the hero of the country. So you heard a totally different story, and it was like, okay, so who is this founder of Uzbekistan? So that was not a big cultural shock, but an interesting, again, point of view, considering what we've been like listening through all our lives.
Oh, wow, cool. Wow. So if you have any question for Viviana, and you can leave in the comment and we will answer your question at the end. And this conversation is all about women in business. And we talk about business, we talk about life, and we talk about our experience. Okay. And the next thing I want to ask Viviana is like, when we first met, we were in, I think it was Dana's event, right?
Yeah.
That was a networking event for women.
Yeah.
Right. And I introduced you like I'm a portrait photographer, I do headshots, etc. And that's the time that was your first time you had a photo session with me.
Yeah.
So before that, what was it like when you didn't have a professional headshots?
I think it was a very important moment in my professional life doing the headshot, because I was not really at the beginning of my business. It was, I think, 1.5 years or almost 2 years. But I was still in that phase that you're like, you don't know if you will succeed. You don't know if you're gonna make it. You think you have a good idea, but like all of us, we think we have a good ideas. Yeah. And I think also the photo shoot was this, okay, let's invest this in also, let's say, promoting myself and my picture, my images in a professional way, so that also the brand can gain from myself. And like, I didn't call my company Viviana Premazzi, but of course everyone now knows that Global Mindset Development is Viviana Premazzi. So yes, a good picture for Viviana Premazzi is a good promotion for the brand.
Exactly. So tell us about your experience.
Oh,
the photo shoot experience I'm talking about, the headshot. Yes.
And it's so good actually to come back to the studio where we did it. I think it's really the caring, because like you take care of us like since the beginning. So like we came and we have a lot of time, so we are not like in a hurry of like doing the photo shoot and then leave. It's really, we do the makeup, we do everything, and we change also, and we see what's best and what we want also to communicate. the clothes that we want to wear, but also with like in where we want to look. We want to look like directly in the camera, or maybe we want to communicate something different. So I think there is a lot of study, and also I think it's so important the relationship you're able to build, and I think this is also not so common, and
Not so common.
yeah, and say no. It's true, because it's like, and especially for women, I think we already mentioned this. It's not so easy for us to feel like comfortable with our images, and then it's like, oh, I'm spending time for myself, and maybe it's not good, and am I doing the right thing? So I know we have all these voices in our mind,
Yes.
and I'm not the only one. So having someone that can really guide you and being with you through all this process and feel that, yeah, you're doing the right things, and I can show you actually them at the end.
Yeah, good. So it's really interesting. Like when I heard about general women's experience when they came for photo shoot, like the day before photo shoot, they were just like nervous, like, am I doing it
I'm gonna
right?
cancel.
Yes, should I cancel it because I'm so nervous? I have no idea what to do. I don't look like a model, and I don't know how to pose. Would that be okay? You know, there's loads of things. But I think when people are brave, like I want to have a good headshot because I want to show off for my brand. I want to have a good branding for my company, and it's so important to stand out in the crowd so people will see me and I can provide my service. I can help them out in their life or in their business by just standing out and showing up to be seen. And that sometimes can be very difficult for women to do it. But be brave. If you truly believe your product and your service is going to help people, you have to stand up and you have to show up for your people. Okay. And I'm going to show people a little bit about Viviana, the event she went to, like she joined, and because loads of people ask her about, do you have a photo? We are doing this event and we will need your photo. So,
and they say we need a nice professional photo, some of them. So it's like you actually cannot cheat sending a picture.
Yes. Okay, so let's have a little recap of what Viviana did. Let's have a look. So this is the first slide. Let's have a look. Yes, this one. So tell us about this one, Viviana.
Okay, this is an event then from an organization is actually well known in Malta, and it's Junior Achievement Young Enterprise. But in this case, it was their Global Citizen Week, and it was also an event organized together with Twitter, so the company. And they asked me, of course, for like a professional photo and professional photo shoot, and they liked a lot this one. And I think it's also because from what then someone told me is like, I'm looking at the camera directly, so there is already this engaging with the people.
You are actually like engaging with people, like trying to have a conversation. This one look amazing. I love this headshot, and also how they designed it. You just gave them the photo and they designed for you. So they also use the color actually complement the whole photo. That's really fantastic. Okay, next one. Tell us about this one.
So this one actually, I think we did in GMV. We did the graphic, and so we try again to match the color. And it was because I was appointed like in Italy. I just joined this organization that provides services like short consultancy services. So it's a platform, it's a very innovative idea. And so the professionals are on the platform, and the companies can just book like 20 minutes or 40 minutes with a consultant. And we wanted to give the announcement, and so their color are also around like blue, and so this was why we used the blue, and we did the graphic to make the announcement.
Wow, that's very nice. What about this one?
And this is another platform in Italy, and the course I'm offering on the platform is in Italian. The course I'm offering is global mindset. But in this case, I wanted to combine my course with another course that was about sustainability. So also to launch our courses, we had this conversation. And in this case, I think they use a complementary color, because that was like in the yellow, they use again the blue to.
Yes, looks good. I think you can see clearly three of the photo, which one stands out, right? Okay. And this one, tell us about this one.
And this one was last year, and it was when I was awarded, like I was one of the candidates, and then I was awarded the JCI humanitarian and voluntary leadership category, and also in this case, I think also the professional photo made also like stand the application. But then it was, I think, like speaking now about the company and the award, it was a very good recognition because now it was like 3.5 years of the company and being recognized also with an award, and I'm trying to make the difference in this field in Malta. It was,
yes, that's fantastic, actually. That tells this one. This is also a really nice design, I must say. The colors and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a podcast where I was invited to discuss. The podcast is called the Intercultural Toolbox. So there are a lot of other intercultural trainers they were on the podcast, and we discuss in this case cross-cultural communication, cross-cultural differences, and especially because at that time I was also launching a program for women leadership across cultures. So that was also what they wanted to discuss with me.
I see. So I don't know if I mentioned it. I took these photos, these headshots. Okay, I did. I have to mention.
We didn't. Of course, there are all Amanda's.
Okay, tell us this one.
And this was the conference that was in April this year, and was here in Malta. It was like mental wellness at the workplace. And I think also in this case, among the other photo, I choose the blue because also you want to communicate a message, and the color, we know the blue is also to help people to relax. It's not an aggressive color.
Calm, yes, it's a calm color. Very good. Okay, let me just check. Okay, this next one. Okay, tell us about this one. Diversity.
Yes, last year with my organization we were co-organizers of this conference. It was about a Diversity Smart Summit. It was a summit online. Of course, last year we were doing everything online. Yeah. In this case, we're also video were pre-recorded, and it was about especially gender diversity. But in any case, my topic is always gender diversity across cultures because I think these dynamics are important. And in this case, we also did the graphic. With the blue was again the idea of giving more a calm message.
I just have a quick question. When you say about gender difference or gender,
in this case it was specific about women. Okay, so women at the workplace.
Right.
In other cases is the LGBTIQ or sexual orientation. So. But I'm not tackling all the dimension of diversity. Okay. My focus is more cultural differences. But I work with other organizations and trainers that they cover different dimensions.
Okay, I see. Because there will be people asking okay, you only targeted women, so what about men?
No, exactly.
I get that question sometimes, but I do men's headshot too. Okay, and next one. Let's tell us Malta CEO stuff. MT. Okay.
Yeah, this is a famous for the Maltese, platform for, and they publish a lot of articles for Malta CEOs, but it's also article about business. So it's not only if you're a CEO, you should read this article. And for me, everything started with an interview. So they did an interview with me, and then they wanted actually to have more articles. So now we're publishing monthly. And so to give again CEOs but also managers some suggestions on how to manage a diverse workforce, how to do when they want to expand abroad, and they wanted also in this case a nice picture put together with beautiful.
On the website it looks just stunning. So when when we talk about the monthly newsletter, right?
Yeah.
So do you write monthly for them or?
For them, I write monthly, yes, with the help also of my interns that I have, or I always want to thank them, and because they're great help. But so we put together an article every month on a different topic, and we will do this till December. So
you have wrote a previous article before. Can you tell us what was the topic?
One was actually about doing business in Malta. So these cultural differences that you should consider when moving to Malta. The last one that we wrote was about mental well-being for foreigners, because sometimes when you now it's a big topic, but foreigners, they have different needs compared to locals because we are here and we don't have the same support networks that we have. Our life is kind of split, or our mind sometimes in another place because is where maybe our family or our beloved, and this was evident in COVID, and so we discussed.
This is very useful. if foreigner, they just came, I'm here 9 years, so I don't read this stuff. But when people just arrived, how they would find, it's called Malta CEO.mt, right? So check this one out if you just arrived in Malta, okay? This is going to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check next one.
This is the women's leadership program I mentioned before. So we launched the program 1 year ago, and now we will have a new project also that will start soon.
Yes, even black and white looks great. Look at that.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Love it. I took that photo. This one. Let's see.
And this one was when we actually assigned as GMD to like the support for women from the United Nations. And so also in that case, everything was blue, and even in blue, it's good.
yes. Everything looked good. You know, once it's properly done, it looks just wonderful. And next one. So this one is live streaming about relocate to South Africa, South America. Okay.
Yes. Because during COVID, we were doing a lot of like online, and in this case, I met through BNI, like one of the business network. I met also other trainers doing the same job I was doing, and especially offering services for relocation in different countries. And so I came up with this idea of having this kind of live conversation. So if people want to move from Europe to South America, of course, it's very quick, so it's like 20 minutes or so there. So, but a few things, a few tips to know, and so to prepare yourself if you move to South America. And the same we did for Malta, we did for Canada, we did for, I think, Southeast Asia and Vietnam. So, yeah, we did a few. That's and you can find, we have as GMD a YouTube channel, so you can find all the recordings there.
Yes. How do I search? Just GMD?
It's GMD Malta.
Okay, so GMD Malta on YouTube. Okay, so the last one is this one. Okay, Revive Empowering Women Conference about social entrepreneurship and SEAM. What's SEAM? Our Social Entrepreneurs Association Malta.
Yeah. So let's say two different topics. One, we said before, we don't work only for women, but of course, being women, and I think also sometimes there are some topics that are very like close to my heart, and I think maybe it's the same for you. So we want to join some conferences or some events because that's important to us, like women in business. I think it's something we really care about it. And then the other topic was the Social Entrepreneurship Association Malta, where I was one of the co-founders. And because in Malta, there was not, like till a few years ago, a legislation about social enterprises. But actually, my business and many other, especially women businesses, they can be considered social enterprise. So our idea was to partner together, create an association, advocate for having a legislation and also some benefits related to, and for the people who don't know what social enterprise is the idea of making profit, but also, let's say, it's doing well while doing good. So making profit, but for planet and people. So also invest the profit to doing good for planet, people, and everyone.
Yes, that's very good. So that's the presentation for the previous work. And the next question, we're going to talk about Malta. I'm here 9 years. Next year, I'll be celebrating my 10th year in Malta. Yeah. And I want to ask you, like, do you have anything like in Malta you still can't get used to it, like cultural thing?
I'm telling this, and I told also yesterday in a training. I think when you move to a different country, there is a first phase. It's called the honeymoon. You love everything about the country, and I have a pretty long honeymoon with Malta. I think it's finished in January this year.
Okay.
And from January, I started, like in a relationship, you start saying, it's not so perfect. Like I like him still, but it's not so perfect. Now my relationship with Malta, and I think it's the fact, for example, that January, February, it's getting really cold and you don't have any heating system in the apartment. So every year I say, okay, next year in February, I will not be in Malta. Like I'm going somewhere else.
Yes.
I think this is still something. And another one, it's more related to business. And I think sometimes for people, because of course the economy was growing and everything was going good. I think for some people, they miss the thinking long term. So also in terms of the strategic partnership that they can develop with you, and also in terms of what they can do, not only to have like any profit for today, but maybe also profit for the future and also linked to sustainability.
I see. For me, just summer firework in the daytime. Like, yeah, you see the smoke, you don't see the firework. Because what's the point? Just throw money away. That's how I feel like. That's something I haven't got used to it yet. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. And any, like something you like about Malta?
All the rest.
All the rest you like. Okay, good. And let's say,
What about you?
me, I like the diversity of people. You know, I live in St. Paul's Bay. When I go out, I actually feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because like I can be tourist, I can be resident.
Yeah.
Like I'm so blended in. I feel comfortable in that. Yeah. And I also feel I used to go out like walk like 11 o'clock in evening and 12. I feel safe.
Yeah, this is also so important.
And this is so important that when you live in a place, you actually feel safe. As you know, women. Also, like I can go out running and juggling, and I don't feel like they would be a threat. Back in my country, or when I live in Italy or live in Spain, no, just when it's dark, go home.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. The next question would be, Viviana, what's your next adventure? Tell us about your next adventure.
Wow, so here a big announcement. Like you just came back from the US.
Yes.
And I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going next week. I'm going for 3 months and I'm very excited. Like I won a scholarship for entrepreneurs. So yeah, very excited. I will try to get everything. I will be hosted by an organization that will be mentoring me. And I'm very happy because I think especially also for what I do, not only for the business and learn how to grow the business, but also for my topics, seeing what they do there and maybe bring it back here. It's something really I want to do.
Very, very good. There's a cultural shock when I was in Florida for like 10 days. I joined a business conference. There's one thing I still feel like I can't get used to it. It's giving tips. In Malta, they put on VAT, so when you go into the shop, you get the total price, right? But when you're in America, when I was in America, you have to tip like afterwards. Everything is like you have this total, and you tip like 18% or 20%. It's up to you. And you look at that person who serves you, and you look at the percentage, like you decide how much you want to give. It's quite cruel.
Yeah,
I think.
It's cruel.
You're texting me, am I like, you being nice to me or not? If we don't give tips, they were not so happy. Because also in restaurants in America, a lot of them live on tips. That's how I heard about them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were ones that my friend was talking about, like, if they didn't do anything wrong, you should always tip.
Exactly.
Because they will run after you. Hey.
Yeah, it happened to us in New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we didn't know, like the first time it was back like 15 years ago, and it was like, you cannot leave that. You have to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's so strange. It's just like Europe, you don't get this.
No, exactly.
You pay VAT and everything is done, and then rest of it, that you feel like you really had a good meal, good service, and you tip. Yeah. And I feel comfortable because they're so used to it, I guess. But for my friends in America, they just like, well, this is usual, so they just do it. But I can't get my mind around to, like, I already know my total price and how to add something on top of it. So it's like, okay.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting also, that this is, I'm sure it happened also in Malta when they have some American tourists, they don't say that they don't have to tip, and so they just wait for the tip also here because they know that Americans will tip.
Okay,
this is for all our Americans friends. You can also not leave the tip in Europe.
Yeah. It's entirely up to you. Okay. So this is just today's conversation with Viviana. I really had a good chat with you, and I hope to see you when you come back and tell us all about your adventure.
We'll organize another one when I'll be back.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so we are going to do this live conversation with a woman in business or men in business as well. I actually have a guest. He coach people to write book and to publish book, and he will be on about, I think, November time. Okay, so if you're interested to write a book, check it out. So join us on the conversation so you can ask a lot of questions. Okay, so thank you for joining us, and I will see you next time. Bye. Bye.